Welcome to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism.
I am Dr. Natasha Blanton.
And I'm Mark Blanton, and the owners. And we have amazing packages coming to Johannesburg. Everything we do is 5-star. Everything is private. And what else, Tasha?
Everything we do is exclusive and made just for you.
So all I can say is go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. We'll see you here.
Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app.
Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so pleased that you are with us today. As you come in, beloved, be sure to give us a big thumbs up, Be sure to like and share in modern media. When you do that, beloved, you help to activate the algorithm so more notifications are sent out. And how many of you all know that because we're an alternative, independent Black media voice, that's so very important for the word to get out. When you are deliberate, when you are intentional about sharing our message, because when you are the counter voice to the oppressive classes, large media apparatus, beloved, how many of you all know you need the folks, meaning you, to help us get the word out? We're in the middle of a battle, beloved. And what does that mean? That means that you cannot expect your open enemy, beloved, to fund and to assist you in winning the battle. Talk black to me, somebody. So if you think for one second that every time we do something it's going to be favorable, they're going to help work stuff out for us. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. So you have to be intentional about making sure that you are supporting and that you are sharing networks like this one, platforms like this one that are speaking to issues that actually matter to you. Yes. And for that, we say thank you so very much. Family, you all know that we've been doing back-to-back coverage here on Chicago. Yes. Chicago has certainly, the goings on of Chicago have implications that reverberate certainly throughout the United States, beloved, and to be honest with you, even around the world, because this is an international issue as it relates now to the immigration issue and a whole bunch of other stuff that forces foundational Black Americans, that forces average citizens to get involved. Yes, family, I want you to get ready in just a second here to take a look at, we're going to play a clip for you in just a moment. And then, beloved, I'm going to read an article just to bring you up to speed. Now, I guess I might just go ahead and start with the article today. If you've been paying attention to my previous broadcast, go under the lives, beloved, and look at everything I did about Chicago, immigration, activists there. It all fits together. And I'm not the only one, family. Also, my other lovely colleagues here as well. Yes. And I want you to connect the dots. Now, today, we're talking about the fact that foundational Black Americans, Black citizens, Black Chicago, or ChiTown. How many of y'all know ChiTown is a short name for Chicago? Family, how many of y'all know? Vicki, stop laughing. This not funny. How many of y'all know that the citizens of Chicago have called, watch this, for the arrest? Vicki, stop. Of y'all's mayor, y'all's Democrat, Black looking mayor. Talk black to me, somebody. How many of y'all know I've taught people over the years that there's a difference between Black people and Black looking people? There's a distinction So before you go running out there talking about don't talk against your own, baby, how many of y'all know that there's no battle, there's no warfare that goes on, that when the other side sends out a spy, you know, when somebody sends out an op, baby, they're not going to have the op standing out like a sore thumb. They're going to have them dwelling among those that they look like. Talk black to me, somebody. So don't forget that and keep that in mind. Yes. Now watch this, family. If you are looking at my previous broadcast, you will know that Chicago's mayor, Mr. Brandon Johnson, is in a whole lot of trouble. He's been doing so much. He's being too much for too long. And he felt emboldened by the Democrat Party. In fact, there are allegations that he was doing the bidding of the Democrat Party entities and agents. And some folks have felt like, you know, that the real hidden hand and other forces, we're still unaware of whose bidding he's doing. Why do we say that? Because the people that vote, the average citizen, he is absolutely defying their demands and wishes. He's absolutely mistreating them. And he has gone so far as to even punish them for being politically involved and demanding that he puts their interest above others, especially those that are illegal immigrants, illegal criminals that have come into the country, that are getting benefits with y'all's very black taxpayer dollars, while you step over black homeless people and black Chicagoans are forced to leave the city because they can't even afford to stay there. And if a black mother asks for an extra $25 to feed her babies, y'all will call her a welfare queen. But in the meantime, you're giving hundreds of dollars, and some have even claimed thousands of dollars in some form of tangibles to those that have broke the law to get here. Make that make sense. How many of y'all know it doesn't? Let me get my gavel. Get the gavel on that. Talk black to me. Watch this. Now, so y'all know that he has been what? The mayor has been defying federal agents to round up illegal criminals. It's not that he needs to participate in helping, but he's actually standing in the way. When you stand in the way, family, that means you are an obstructionist. So there have been accusations of that. There have been accusations. There have been credible coverage and stories and investigation on the fact that government agencies have gone to investigate his office for taking, have y'all seen my latest broadcast? Taking gifts and not disclosing where they come from. Talk black to me, somebody. That's y'all's mayor. And then when they followed the law to receive FOIA requests, which means Freedom of Information Act. These are legal documents that the public or any entity are entitled to get, so long as they follow certain rules and you go through the proper process to retrieve them. His office is credibly accused of obstructing those efforts when they follow the rules. How many of y'all know they refuse to even allow these public gifts that are now in the hands of the public? Because even though they were clearly meant to be given to him or one of his officials or his office, how many of y'all know he refuses to disclose who they belong to, right? How many of y'all know now he found out he's under congressional investigation? How many of y'all know he was playing around like he wasn't going to go, and because of FBA pressure, somebody put pressure in the chat. Somebody put pressure in the chat. Now he's sitting there considering, he's actually agreed to go to Washington, D.C. after much Foundational Black American and now other groups pressure to go. How many of y'all know he and his team a little nervous now because when he goes for this investigation, they're demanding communication documents between him and a whole lot of other entities that I have told you days ago that I believe is going to probably implicate either him or somebody in his office. I didn't say for sure. I'm saying that I believe that it's a possibility that some other information that's going to be very useful to the public, for the public, is going to come out that's well beyond this immigration issue. Ain't no telling what context, what high-level people, what other influential people's information may come out. And I believe that his office might be protecting some of them because he was refusing to really cooperate. So he's in a lot of trouble. Well, family, before we show you this video clip, watch this. Can we put up the article from AP News? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Now, I got to say, I'm not going to give no mainstream media credit for this, baby, because we're the one that's been putting the pressure on for years, and it's finally gotten to this point. Do y'all see this headline? Tell me y'all ready for it, beloved. The article I want you to look at now is from AP, and it says what? Trump administration sues Chicago in its latest crackdown on sanctuary cities. Now, y'all know I'm going to call a spade a spade. I call Trump out for any devilment he does, and I'm going to call out the Democrats and anybody else. But right now, I'm being very surgical in my criticism and my approval of this move by this administration. Why? Because this is an issue that foundational Black Americans brought to his attention and to the previous administration. How many of y'all remember Lori Lightfoot? How many of y'all remember them funny looking Democrat politicians that was messing over us for the longest time, even before Brandon Johnson's funny looking self took office? Watch this. I'm gonna read a little bit of this article. The Trump administration sued Chicago on Thursday, alleging that sanctuary laws in the nation's third largest city thwart federal efforts to enforce immigration laws. In the lawsuit, which also names the state of Illinois, so it's a couple of different people that they name it. They're naming who, did I say? They're naming Chicago and who? The state itself. So that's going to implicate the mayor and his office and stuff on the local level, as well as the state and y'all's governor out there, yes? It says what? The lawsuit, which names the state of Illinois, is the latest effort to crack down on places that limit cooperation between federal immigration agents and local police. It follows the federal government's threats of criminal charges. Y'all see that? It follows the federal government's threats of criminal charges and funding cuts to what are known as sanctuary cities. Quote, the conduct of officials in Chicago and Illinois minimally enforcing and oftentimes affirmatively thwarting. That's the key. When you affirmatively thwart, that means that's another a slick way of saying obstructing and getting in the way of something. Yes, affirmatively thwarting federal immigration law over a period of years, it says, has resulted in countless criminals being released into Chicago who should have been held for immigration removal from the United States, according to the lawsuit filed in Chicago's federal court. Now, that's all I'm gonna read from the article now. Now, y'all listen to me. Y'all warned y'all's mayor about this long time ago, didn't you? And he ignored you. When you showed up nonstop to engage those that you paid to support your interest, those that some of you voted for to do your bidding, instead, they thumbed their nose at you and did the bidding of everybody else but you. Talk black to me, somebody. That's a shame. And because Brandon Johnson, a Black Democrat, and the Democrat Party that many of us believe put him up to do it along with other unseen forces, he felt, and this is the issue, that he could get away with it. Because they deemed foundational Black Americans too weak to affect change, too broke to mount a serious threat to them, too unorganized to get the ear of those in Congress. And even if you got the ear of Congress, he knows that that he very likely has the ear of many of your congressional people there, many of the lobbyists there. So he's doing the bidding of them in the first place. So even if you got the ear of your congressional folks, they won't do what you tell them to do no way. He thought it was over. They thought that Kamala Harris was a shoo-in. Talk black to me, somebody. And at the very least, they didn't expect to lose the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. They thought by at least keeping one of the houses of Congress, they thought by at least keeping, the White House or something, they would be able to at least slow down some of the outrageous agenda of the Republican Party. Talk black to me. But they didn't. And one of the reasons why the Republicans did so well is because they used the energy and they used the grievances of Black Americans that were on the ground, and they used them against the Democrats. And Democrats, with their condescension and their arrogance, thought it was beneath them to do right by us. And here now they have egg on their face. And he thought he was above the law. And now y'all's mayor, the mayor's office, that's Chicago, the city, as well as your state and the governor, is under investigation. And because of pressure and because of the seed we sold here in alternative Black media, now mainstream media is putting the pressure on him. He was forced to take his hips to DC. I believe it's March. I want y'all to be paying attention to that. Most important, the foundation of Black America is I want some of y'all, if y'all can go, go. But I definitely need you all to be paying attention to whenever those documents release and do everything you can to get your hands on it. How many of y'all know, even if you don't even understand what's in it, get your hands on it legally when the documents are released. And then later on, baby, we'll get together and try to help pay somebody, get somebody that's a Black American that can help us, or somebody that's going to work for the interests of Black Americans, no matter what they color are. They're going to be about our business and do what we tell them to do and go through those documents so that we can figure out what's what. Do it. Now watch this. I want y'all to get ready now for this video clip, because because of what some of you all deem to be violations of law by y'all's mayor. And I'm gonna get into some of the details here in just a minute on the other side of this video clip. Why are y'all out there, Black Americans and other people too, following y'all's lead, following our lead? Everybody is, y'all, a lot of people. I'm finna read some of the messages, I'm gonna read some of y'all, the comments. How many of y'all know on multiple different platforms, large platforms, legacy mainstream platforms, in addition to alternative media platforms like this, why are so many of y'all calling for this man to be arrested? I guess y'all said since he was gonna use the law against us, what we look like, telling him he's above the law. Family, I want you to get ready now, and I'm gonna say a little bit more on the other side of this clip. I want you to get ready now to watch this brief clip, this news article from CBS News. How this article, family, is going to discuss what we've already started here. I'm gonna keep emphasizing that because I want you all to know that the world is taking our lead. They know where the energy is. The Democrats knew too, but they worked against us. I want y'all to watch this video clip here where Mayor Brandon Johnson was finishing up a press conference of him finally deciding to go ahead and take his hips to testify before Congress. And then I want y'all to pay attention to the stuff that this segment is going to emphasize. It's going to be exactly what I told y'all they worried about. Watch this.
The people of Chicago want to have a far broader conversation in this moment.
But this representative wants to have a very specific conversation with you and your colleagues. Well, I find that
to be, disingenuous, quite frankly.
A tone change from the mayor since last week when we pressed him on this trip to attend a Republican-led House committee to talk about the risks and rewards of Chicago's sanctuary city status.
I'm not quite sure if this is the forum in which that could take place.
Late word today, he is going, along with the mayors of Boston, Denver, and New York City, all invited to speak before the House Oversight Committee March 5th.
Democrats are hyperventilating and sensationalizing it.
Representative James Comer of Kentucky leads the committee. Upon learning the mayors attending, he posted online, sanctuary mayors have prioritized criminal illegal aliens over the American people. They owe Americans an explanation for their policies that jeopardize public safety and violate federal immigration law by releasing dangerous criminal illegal aliens back onto the streets. And that we will press these mayors for answers and examine measures to enforce compliance with federal immigration law.
This is really about our democracy.
Tuesday, the mayor said his team was working with the other mayors about the trip and the other asks being made by Comer's committee.
We're coordinating with 3 other cities because, again, they didn't just ask for the city of Chicago. They didn't just ask for me to show up to testify. There are a series of documents that they are requesting.
City Hall has not clarified if they'll be providing the documents requested by the committee, but the city's chief attorney framed it this way.
They have requested a host of documents. We'll be discussing with them specifically issues around what it is that they've requested of us, and we don't anticipate being obstructionists in any way.
Okay, family. Now, did y'all hear Mayor Johnson? Why is he sitting up here, number one? I'm going to get to some of the other stuff in a minute. Number one, he's sitting up here saying he's coordinating with these other mayors. Now, y'all probably just heard about the breaking news recently where the mayor out of New York, the DOJ has asked that the charges against him be dropped because of the immigration stuff, right? Now, he's sitting there he's talking to the mayor of Boston and Denver. Now, I live in Colorado, even though I don't officially live in the Denver area. I do a lot of business there and stuff, so I'm there a lot. So family, he's trying to meet with all these mayors, and he emphasized that he's coordinating with them. Watch this, y'all. I wonder if there's gonna be any emails of chit-chatting he doing for colluding with other governors, other mayors rather, prior to this, to violate the law. I wonder if we're going to find any other Democrats scheming and other little stuff coming up in there. I wonder if we're going to hear any conversations about business owners that benefit from these low-wage, low-standard criminals that they hire, and they was the ones that was probably encouraging the mayors to go full throttle and keeping them here so that they can save money. Talk black to me, somebody. I'm not saying officially, I want to be clear that this is what's in there. I'm saying who knows what could come out, and could it possibly include it? Now, I'm no lawyer. Let's be clear. I'm no legal expert, and I would never speak as one. But just as a citizen, and just looking into a little language, I wondered that if I talked to a legal expert, would they say aiding and abetting would be a problem? I wonder if they say because of the funds and federal funds misuse or mishandling of the funds, I wonder because it was a wire and communications and information documentation going by mail and by wire, would that trigger federal law of wire and mail fraud and stuff? I just wonder, family, if obstruction is gonna come in there in all kinds of forms. Talk black to me, somebody. We got to hold the people's court. All right, we got to hold the court of public opinion. And again, I'm being real clear. Ain't nobody, I'm not saying I'm a legal expert and stuff. I'm saying I wonder if we talk to one, would these issues come up and be relevant and plausible among many others? How many of you all know that if you was with somebody that's a criminal and the law came to get him and you stood in the way of it, if you stood in the way of the police, you stood in the way of law enforcement intentionally and knowingly, and consistently in this case, how many of y'all know they'll get you too because you standing in the way of the law? You obstructed. So how is it that your lawmakers, like your mayor and your city council people, should be above the law when they're the ones that should know it better than you, and they're the ones that don't even have an excuse like the average person would? How many of y'all saw his attorney get up there? What are they scared about, family? How many of y'all remember my commentary I did days back when I broke this news and I told y'all that not only about this congressional hearing and investigation against y'all's mayor, didn't I tell y'all that the biggest issue might end up being what's found in them communications about other stuff that y'all don't know nothing about? Why do they keep emphasizing all these documents? Why they keep showing the clip of his counsel saying a host of other documents? Why is he sitting up here telling you he's talking to the other mayors? Baby, if in my opinion, they trying to get their testimony together. They trying to talk to all these different mayors so they can be on the same page. They trying to get their little story straight and stuff. They trying to make sure that one of them don't slip up and tell the others, allegedly. Talk black to me, somebody. How many of y'all know they trying to get their little stories and stuff together? That's what it looked like. That's what it smelled like. That's what I'm saying. Talk black to me, somebody. Now, family, the drama and the outrage of Chicago is more than what I can say. Now, how many of you all know that Chicago is a hotbed of strong political, social, and religious and financial influence? Not only do you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's base there, the Nation of Islam, which is a historic group that's been around 90 years, right? You also, how many of y'all know Barack Hussein Obama? He used that as a stomping ground. Talk black to me, somebody. How many of y'all know about Reverend Jesse Jackson and stuff like that? You all could probably name many others, but I'm trying to get you all to understand that Chicago is not nothing. How many of y'all know Rahm Emanuel's little corrupt tail? What went on out there with foundational Black Americans that were deleted and intentionally taken out by law enforcement and police there, and we found out that the Rahm Emanuel types and other political folks sought to cover up some of this stuff or make sure that justice wasn't done. Oh, baby, we going back. This is some karma for you. And the Black mayors, like the black looking mayors like Brandon Johnson and Lori Lightfoot, the reason why y'all got so much hell is because y'all should know better than the rest of them. And you decided to be the fall guy and the fall woman for this corrupt anti-Black system. So you're going to meet the same end as the rest of them. Some of y'all don't know that a lot of the pushback when black folks are sitting here protesting against police that's taking out our people on camera, a domestic genocide, the Democrats sat back and participated and covered up and refused to do justice. I'm reminding you all of these things to let you all know that some of this, baby, is karma. And we're going to hold you accountable. And I don't want none of y'all out there talking about we forgive you. No, you finna hush your mouth. And you finna look through these documents. And if you can, you're going to go out there to D.C. and try to attend that meeting. And give Vicki Dillard some footage. Talk black to me so we can cover this news and keep the people informed. You're going to find any kind of communication that obstructed y'all getting your tangibles and stuff. That's what this is about. How many of y'all know there's an old saying, there's a political saying I saw in one of the buildings in Colorado some years ago that said, what is the city except the people? It's your taxpayer dollars. You pay them. You put them in position to do what you tell them to do. And he thumbed his nose specifically at you all. Now, I'm going to say this. I did not even give the team this article, and I don't even want to put, look, I don't even want to put the team on the spot right now, so I can't guarantee you'll see this, but I'm going to give you the headline here, family. This is another issue that's going on with y'all's Mayor Brandon Johnson. I had the high privilege of doing a couple of interviews with a very major, well-known principal there about the name of Mr. Abdul Muhammad. How many of y'all heard of this brother, Abdul Muhammad? He's a black principal. I'm reading now from a CNN article. This is dated July 2023. The headline says, Black principals call for investigation of Chicago school district after they were fired from their jobs. How many of y'all know I was all over that? I was all over that on my platform at VickiDillard.tv. My team did some clips for me, so I put it up on social media. A lot of people was watching it. I did a follow-up with the brother, and I also had on another very educated Black Chicago education official. Yes? Now watch this. The headline I'm reading from, how many of y'all remember hearing about that? I'm going to read a little bit of this article because I'm going to let you all know how Brandon Johnson been messing them over. This headline says, this article says, this is a CNN article, activists in Chicago are calling for an investigation after Chicago Public Schools fired at least 7 of the district's Black principals over the 2022-2023 school year. Civil rights attorney, I'm going to skip him because I'm going to skip. If it happens once, it's an accident. If it happens twice, it's a coincidence. But if it happens 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, it's a pattern and a practice of discrimination against Black principals. Actually, Attorney Ben Crump said that. Now, they brought him in, even though, the principals and some of the alternative sources are the one that really did the groundwork. Watch this. So I don't know what the status of it is now, but watch this. Troy Laravery, I know I'm mispronouncing his name, and I actually interviewed this brother. He has a very interesting pronunciation, but I interviewed him as well as Brother Abdul. President of the Chicago Principals and Administrators Association said there have been at least 7 Black principals fired from Chicago Public Schools. The group is asking the school district to issue an official apology and reinstate the principals impacted. The group is also calling, y'all listening, on the U.S. Department of Justice and Civil Rights Division, as well as who? The mayor's office, to investigate the matter. He confirmed to CNN that Mr. Muhammad was removed from his job in March. Morrow was removed in December last year, and Gibson's contract was terminated in February. It's a lot more to the article, but watch this, y'all. When I interviewed Brother Abdul Muhammad, when I interviewed the beautiful brother, Mr. Troy Laravery, and I know I'm not pronouncing it right. Do you all know that I found out in my conversations with them and based on information and research that I was reading and was provided for, that all of this could have been taken to the next level if y'all's Black mayor, Brandon Johnson, intervened, and he refused? I wonder if there's going to be any communications about somebody being in his ear about him not reinstating these Black brothers. And Brother Abdul Muhammad is considered to be a legend in Chicago. Why didn't Brandon Johnson come out publicly to support these brothers when they were asking him to do it? Why did he allow it to go on and on and on? I believe they even tried to do a press conference one time. They were successful in doing several press conferences. I think there was another one they were supposed to be doing. There was some, I'm going to leave it at this. I'm not going to get no details. My understanding was some shenanigans going on. Now, y'all know I'm a voice and I don't play with people. I remember when I was supporting the brother and I did an interview with him, I was trying to hold back because I didn't want to throw nothing for no loops and put his case in jeopardy. But how many of y'all know that the mayor is still playing these little games and they trying to slow walk and he trying to be hush hush? Mayor Johnson, I'm trying to tell you, brother, that is this a divine that's whooping your tail for what you're doing against Foundation of Black Americans as it relates to this immigration issue and giving tangibles to everybody but us? And also you mistreating your own and not intervening. How many of y'all know that these brothers experience racism and white folks that put them in positions and other folks that sold them out on behalf of white folks threw these brothers to the wolves? Mr. Brandon Johnson, are there any documentation? Was somebody in your ear telling you what to do and what not to do when it came down to these brothers? Talk black to me, somebody. Y'all be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share while y'all do that, family. I'm going to do this one last reference and I'm out of here. Are y'all hearing me today? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. What am I reading to you now? I told y'all's mayor did so much, but I'm reminding you of one thing that he did to punish you. What did he do? Listen to this article. I'm reading this news article. Oh, they playing now. How many of y'all know sometimes the powers that shouldn't be trying to mess with you when they know that you can expose their funny looking selves? Okay, I'm going to pull up this other one. This one I was getting ready to, excuse me. This one that I was wanting to read to you from had to do with y'all's mayor limiting access for Black Chicago citizens from entering into the city council meetings because you all were showing up so strong, you all were so consistent with everything that you were doing that they tried to change the rules and policies to prevent your impact and to prevent you from filling the rooms and holding them accountable. Talk black to me, somebody. I'm even going to read real quick while I'm waiting for this other one to come up. This is an article from Chicago 5 News where it says here, man behind effort to recall Chicago's mayor says he's not some dude from the suburbs. In other words, how many of y'all know for the longest time, Foundation of Black Americans have been demanding that y'all's mayor, Brandon Johnson, be recalled? Y'all found out that they rigged the system to make it difficult for you to do that. How many of y'all remember hearing about that? This is a long time coming. Now, this article I'm reading from now is from WTTW News. Are y'all listening? This is from December of 2023, so just over a year and a couple of months ago, right? How many of y'all know I covered this very story? This is the last thing I'm going to say before I get out of here. Y'all listening? This says Chicago officials revise rules limiting access to city council meetings after warning. Y'all know I give you receipt references because I want you all to know that we're giving you the facts to let you all know this is not a one-off with them working against you. And we need to know what's behind all this stuff. What does a little bit of this article say? It says members of the public would have to make reservations and show government issue identification to sit in the main second floor gallery in the council chambers during meetings of the Chicago City Council under revised rules designed to limit access to where members of the public can sit. How many of y'all know I covered that story here back to back? The new rules issued Thursday came several days after the president of the Better Government Association warned Mayor Brandon Johnson that the administration's effort to restrict access to the meetings of the city council were, quote, inequitable and likely illegal. It says, however, the changes are unacceptable according to the BGA, a 100-year-old group that advocates for good government and transparency. The new rules violate the spirit and likely the letter of the state law and should be reversed according to the statement from the BGA. In a time where important matters are being discussed, the public is entitled, somebody say entitled, to open access to our government. According to the statement, quote, access rules that have been in effect for years comply with the Open Meetings Act and allow for public participation in the democratic process in a safe and decorous environment, if reasonably and professionally enforced. Members of the public have been denied access to the main second floor gallery in the council chambers. It says after a series of out-of-control meetings prevented the city council from conducting its business. Instead, people were forced to observe the meeting from the glass-in gallery on the third floor and participate in public comment from there. How dare you? They consider out of control you saying anything that doesn't go along with the Democrat program. I just had to remind y'all of that. I had to remind you that's just one of many instances where y'all's mayor and your local government punished you. And thank God, thank God is for a government agency that told them this not only violates the letter of the law, but likely, the spirit of the law, but likely the letter of the law, and told them that it was very likely illegal. And they ended up rescinding some of the stuff that they were doing to punish you all and to prevent you all from holding their funny looking selves accountable. I'm reminding of you of that because it's been going on a long time. I got to stop now, family. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to go to my website at VickiPlanet.com. Get your mini gavels today and join my school. You'll find all the information there at VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKIPlanet.com. Don't forget to tune in tonight for Brother Phil's live commentary at 8 p.m. Eastern, family. Be sure to share the broadcast. I can't wait.